The Fantasy Goodfellas are back with another episode where we cover the top 30 wide receivers for Week 11. But before we get started, let's just do a recap on how we did on Week 10.
We actually had a pretty good Week 10. We hit on 19 of our top 30, on 9 of our top 15, and 7 of our top 12, which is a pretty solid week for wide receivers.
All right, let's get started with the top 30 wide receivers for Week 11. The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
And number 1, we have Tyreek Hill at Las Vegas. What else can you say about Tyreek Hill?
Well, Tyreek Hill is the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. He has the most TDs of any receiver at 10. He has 650 receiving yards and 62 rushing yards. And the best thing he has is Patrick Mahomes as quarterback.
Yep. Tyreek Hill is definitely popping, and he deserves his place at the top. And number 2, we have another great receiver, DeAndre Hopkins at Seattle. Great receiver. And number 3, we have Davante Adams at Indianapolis. It's a tough matchup, but Davante Adams is probably the most consistent receiver in 2020. And number 4, DK Metcalf, home against Arizona. Just came off a bad week, but we expect him to rebound in a big way. Number 5, Julio Jones at New Orleans. And number 6, Keenan Allen with a great matchup, home against the New York Jets. Ryan, what do you have to say about this?
Keenan Allen is going against the New York Jets that's ranked 29th against the pass.
Yeah, that Herbert train is still moving fast. And number 7, Terry McLaurin, home against Cincinnati. And Terry McLaurin has been solid all season, regardless of quarterback. And Alex Smith is starting to feel more comfortable in the pocket. And number 8, we got Will Fuller, home against New England. We know New England's D is pretty solid, but what do you have to say about Will Fuller?
In standard leagues, he's the number 11th wide receiver. He has 628 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns.
And number 9, we have A.J. Brown at Baltimore. It's a tough defensive matchup, but A.J. Brown has been good all season, but more often than not, he's going to score a lot of points. And number 10, JuJu Smith-Schuster at Jacksonville. Our relationship with JuJu is a strange one this season. It looks like Big Ben is throwing more, and he's consistently looking for JuJu. At number 11, T. Higgins at Washington. Another quarterback that's been throwing for a lot of yards is Joe Burrow. And T. Higgins, it's between Boyd and Higgins as far as his favorite targets, but the flavor of this week will be T. Higgins. At number 12, Mike Evans, home against the Rams. Tom Brady has many targets, but as of late, it looks like Mike Evans is becoming his favorite target. So we still don't know who his guy is going to be for the rest of the season, but this week we're going to rank Mike Evans highest amongst all the Tampa Bay receivers at 12. At 13, we have Chase Claypool at Jacksonville. Claypool is quickly developing into Pittsburgh's deep threat and has scored an abundance of touchdowns this year. Ryan, do you have more on that?
In standard leagues, he's the number 9th wide receiver. He has 500 receiving yards and 9 total TDs. He remains a force, and he's showing a lot of consistency.
He is getting consistent targets. I think he only had 1 bad game. At number 14, Chris Godwin, home against the Rams. Here's our second Buccaneers receiver. Tom Brady is passing it a lot. At number 15, Diontae Johnson at Jacksonville. Here's our third Steeler receiver in the top 15. That's because the Steelers have a great matchup, and they've been relying on their pass. At number 16, Tyler Lockett, home against Arizona. He has not been consistent. He's had those 2-3 touchdown games and then a bunch of games where he hasn't scored many points. But it is Seattle. It is Russell Wilson. 17, we have Adam Thielen, home against Dallas. It's a good matchup, but the issue with Minnesota is that it's the Dalvin Cook show. How many times is Kirk Cousins going to throw it? We'll see. At 18, Michael Thomas, home against Atlanta. It's been a sad season for Michael Thomas owners. And now Drew Brees is probably lost. Michael Thomas is still a great receiver. We'll see the chemistry he has with Jameis Winston. Ryan?
Going against Atlanta, they have the 31st ranked defense against the pass, and it's not going to require Winston to kind of really do a lot. All he has to do is dump it off, and Michael Thomas can definitely run after the catch.
Number 19, we have Tyler Boyd at Washington, and we talked about it already. We like Joe Burrow. He's going to pass it a lot. There's plenty of room for T. Higgins and our number 19 receiver, Tyler Boyd. And number 20, Brandin Cooks, home against New England. I think Deshaun Watson's having a good game this week, even against the Patriots defense. I think Will Fuller and Brandin Cooks are going to do well. At 21, Christian Kirk at Seattle. It's a great matchup, and Christian Kirk has done well for the Cards this season. At number 22, DJ Moore, home against Detroit. DJ Moore scored a touchdown last week. Hopefully that trend continues. At number 23, Amari Cooper at Minnesota. Here's a player that's losing some value. Ryan?
Should be a good matchup for him. He's going against Minnesota. Their defense is ranked 27th against the pass. We're thinking that he's going to get right back on track.
Yes, the question is, can Andy Dalton salvage Amari Cooper's value? At number 24, Marvin Jones at Carolina with Kenny Golladay out. Marvin Jones took the reins last week in week 10, and we think he's going to have another good week against a suspect secondary in Carolina. At number 25, DeVante Parker at Denver. The Dolphins have been winning on defense, so Tua hasn't had to pass as much, but when he does pass, he's going to be looking DeVante Parker's way. At number 26, Cooper Kupp at Tampa Bay. Jared Goff loves Cooper Kupp. Number 27, Justin Jefferson, home against Dallas. Justin's coming off a great week. He's a great receiver. Again, the question is, how much is Minnesota going to throw? If Minnesota could have their way, they would give Dalvin Cook the ball 50 times. And number 28, Robert Woods at Tampa Bay. Again, great offense, but as far as his usage has been inconsistent, so we will see. Number 29, we have Robby Anderson, home against Detroit. Here's a guy with lots of talent. He's among the league leaders in yardage, needs to score more. And then number 30, Jamison Crowder at the LA Chargers. Jamison Crowder's a great receiver, but he's wasting away with the Jets. Can Darnold muster up some offense? We will see. And that is your top 30 wide receivers for week 11.
All right. Well, I see you got a lot of doubles and triples in this week in the rankings. So there should be a lot of quarterbacks that should be exploding. So we'll look forward to that. So thanks for coming on here and sharing.
No problem. Good luck to everyone.